Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to the One Bitcoin Show. Today is March the 5th, 2019. Strong hand, offended by selling. Offended by selling. Value your wealth in Bitcoin, unconfiscatable. I'm not going anywhere. Conviction. No fancy sets and graphics here. This game is not rigged. Value your time in halvings. Value your wealth in Bitcoin. All right, check out all the links below. There's a new link below. Besides following me on Twitter at TechBalt and Bitcoin Meister over at Steemit, where this show is live right now, you can now catch all of my shows in podcast form, all my new shows and some of the old shows at anchor.fm/BitcoinMeister. That is anchor.fm/BitcoinMeister. And that is linked to below. Many people have asked for this show to be in podcast form. And I looked into it. Finally, I looked into it and it was easy to do. I recommend anchor.fm. Spread the word. So now you can listen to it also. I like that because, I mean, all my YouTube videos that I watch of all sorts of different people, I never watch, I listen to them. So people say, hey, it's great when it's podcast form. I can listen to it at the gym or when I'm driving my car. And okay, you can do it now with the show. Diversification there. I'm in motion. Hey, man, I'm practicing what I preach just in case YouTube goes down. Well, I'm over there now. And I'm going to actually upload some older videos that are classics and maybe give them some new introductions where I explain what I'm about to talk about. And, you know, this is from 2016. Look what I said then and look how it's come true now. Yeah, I'll do some remixing and matching too if I have some time. And hopefully I will be able to dedicate some time. We'll see. Anyway, you guys got to spread the word. Retweet. I tweeted about it on Twitter, again, at TechBalt. Retweet it. I say, if you look at the links below, it says retweet this. Retweet this so people know, because a lot of people asked me about this over the last 6 months. And they asked me through email, they asked me through Twitter, and I can't get back to, I don't even know all the people who asked me. So if you guys spread the word, I would appreciate it. I'm spreading the word here on my show. And yeah, this show, maybe you're listening to it right now on Anchor. Right now, I'm doing this live on YouTube. I'll put it on Anchor right afterwards. That's how the process will go for now on. All right. So let us talk about, and yeah, they're going to distribute it over other podcast networks also. You know, there's going to be advertisements during it. So tell me what you think of that. If you don't like the format, if I can improve the format. But right now, it's just the first day. I mean, I did this less than 24 hours ago, so it hasn't even been distributed over all the partners. Okay. And again, I talked about this first on my my Bitbacker account. So if you follow me there and you support me over there, I the minute I signed up, I said exclusive. I'll have a podcast now, also, or it'll be in audio podcast form. Pound that like button for being in motion and diversifying the social media. So I hope all you podcast freaks like that, like this new feature of the Bitcoin Meister empire. All right, what an empire it is. So yeah, here is something from Breaker magazine, and they say, Coinbase says former hacking team members will transition out following the delete Coinbase backlash, but not everybody's convinced. Okay, yeah, so they didn't like a lot of people didn't like who Coinbase hired. These guys who are really good at tracking like every move you make. So they might have fired them, or how about this, guys? Coinbase, you know, they might be called the hacking team. They might be called Mr. X. They might be called whoever. They're going to hack. They're going to be keeping track of things. You're going to have to be honest if you're over there. You're going to have to pay your taxes. If you don't like Coinbase, then don't do business with them. The 80%ers are going to do business with them, okay? They've got to they respond to the backlash. I guess they were getting some bad PR. And whatever, that's life goes on for them. Life should go on for you. Don't worry about it too much. If you're not a user of Coinbase, 80%ers are going to do what they're going to do. There are all sorts of new people that are going to be onboarded by Coinbase. Coinbase does get people into the space, and yes, they're being tracked. But that's what you sign up for. You give them your driver's license and your social security number, for God's sakes. And Josh Cohout sent $1.99 in the super chat. Thank you much. Pound that like button for gals at the night shift. Oh, that's too far there, Josh Cohout. He's referring to a video where I mentioned a certain establishment in Baltimore that I went to when I valued my wealth in things other than Bitcoin. And that establishment actually has really changed. Apparently, I looked it up on the internet. It's changed a lot since I was there. When I was there, they were playing Led Zeppelin and stuff, and now it's like a hip hop club. I could not go to it in its current form. I would kind of stick out. If you catch my drift. Pound that like button. And then Jim sends $1.99. Whoa, Bit Piggies, he says. Yes, Jim is the one that he made these piggy banks where you can store your Bitcoin. And they actually, I've gotten word from my connection in Baltimore that Jim sent it over there. So when I'm back in Baltimore, I will show you the Bit Piggy. But I will not be back in Baltimore until March the 28th. And I will be in Los Angeles 2 weeks prior to that. So I'm leaving here. I'm leaving Tel Aviv on Tuesday for Los Angeles, where I will be for 2 weeks. Those of you who care about that, my location and whatnot. So Cryptopia update. The read-only site is now live. Now remember, Cryptopia got hacked and they lost 9.4% of their funds. The read-only site is now live. The holding balance from the 14th of January is pre-hack, and we will be using these holdings as a baseline for calculating rebates moving forward. All right, good luck, everyone. Let's see who gets what money back. And if people start taking their, people shouldn't be storing their Bitcoin there anyway, but people clearly were and storing all sorts of coins there. Let's see how Cryptopia bounces back from this. There are plenty of people who don't give a darn and will keep doing business with them, even though they probably just lost 9.4% of whatever they were keeping over there. Ouchie. So CoinShares shares this information in a chart. This is linked to below, and you really should look at this. This is very interesting. At least 16% of circulating Bitcoin supply is already in third-party hands. And they list the third parties from exchanges and custodial accounts. And, we're here talking about how there are going to be major custodial accounts coming online for institutional investors. And already, by their calculations here, 16% of circulating Bitcoin supply is already in third-party hands. So these are not individuals controlling their private keys. These are big institutions, big organizations controlling other people's Bitcoin. 16% of, that's very high. And that's at a minimum. And it shows you how much they estimate some of these exchanges have. Now, again, check that out. It's linked to below. I'm going to kind of talk about that. That's a story unto itself, I think, and something you're not going to hear any other place besides here. 16% of circulating Bitcoin supply is already in third-party hands. Imagine when the institutions come in and there's the major custodial accounts, what percentage of circulating Bitcoin will be in third-party hands, and how happy you will be that you control your own Bitcoin and it's not Coinbase that's controlling it or Bitfinex or whoever. And I think they're listed on that list. Now, speaking about other people controlling your Bitcoin, here's some more. For those of you who don't understand that you don't own your Bitcoin unless you control your private key. All right, New York lending firm BlockFi announced Tuesday it is launching a crypto savings account with 6% annual interest payable monthly in Bitcoin or Ether. All right, so BlockFi saying, hey, give me your Bitcoin. Don't worry, we'll give it back and we'll pay you 6% annual interest rate. So there are people who will consider this. There are people who be like, oh, this is called the One Bitcoin Show, so why don't I give my one Bitcoin to BlockFi, and then I'll get 6% on that. And then they'll hopefully give me my Bitcoin back too. Hopefully. I mean, come on, people. Come on. What is this? So I got to say, I got to give BlockFi credit because they are appealing to what traditional investors want. Traditional investors are used to getting interest and getting dividends, and they are used to getting them when a third party is controlling their wealth. I mean, if you keep your money, your cash under your mattress, you're not getting interest. If you go over to Wells Fargo and put it in a savings account, you're getting interest. That's what grandmas used to. That's what people's parents are used to. That's what a lot of traditional investors are used to. So they'll hear about Bitcoin. They're not technologically sophisticated. Also, they want to control their private key. They're not going to feel comfortable until they can go to a Bitcoin bank like this. But for those of us with the so-called insider information, I haven't used that term in a while, we know that, wait a second, why the heck would we give up our Bitcoin when we control our Bitcoin and we get crypto dividends on our Bitcoin that had in the past paid much more than 6%? In fact, even with, with the airdrop, even with the freaking B-Rhodium, the B-Rhodium, you had one Bitcoin, they gave you 10 B-Rhodium, and if you sold that 10 B-Rhodium at the right time, you got 6%. Pound that like button without having to lend all your darn Bitcoin to freaking whoever this is, BitFi, Fee-Fi-Fo-Fum. I smell a freaking CUCK who wants to have his money held by someone else. Anyway, yeah, it's what's the name of this? BlockFi, Fee-Fo-Fi-Fo-Fim. Control my Bitcoin for me. I can't. I'm not. No personal responsibility there. And then they'll be the first people screaming, "Why did BlockFi steal all my money?" All right, I don't know how reliable BlockFi is. That's why I know I'm reliable. I control my own private key. I'll get the crypto dividends, whatever they're going to be in the future. And yeah, the freaking Bcash one, that was, people were getting 10% on that, 20% on that. I mean, and you were getting that because you had it on your Trezor, and it split it for you. And again, you're saying, well, that happened once, Adam. Okay, it did happen, but why won't it happen again? Why risk it? Why risk it and just say, hey, BlockFi, Fee-Fo-Fi-Fum, you control my private key? No, you control your own private key. There's been freakier things that have happened, dudes. Again, we just said the B-Rhodium paid 6%, basically. Okay, and you don't know what the future is going to bring. That's why you don't let somebody else control your private key. You control your private key. You think long term, and you roll with the punches and see what the future brings. And I'm telling you, it's much less risky than saying, oh, well, they're going to give me 6%. No, just wait and see. You'll get 6% if you. I'm not guaranteeing you're going to get 6%, but at least you will have your Bitcoin. At least you will not have the risk of losing your Bitcoin if you've got it on your Trezor. All right, enough of BlockFi, Fee-Fo-Fi-Fum. I have not read a fairy tale in a long time. My nieces and nephews, I don't read them. I think I've read them other stories. So I'm thinking about the giant. I'm like thinking back to when I was a kid, or one of my siblings were kids, or whatever. It's kind of blurry what you said. Fee-Fi-Fo-Fum. I smelled something of I don't even remember the whole thing. All right, so here's another. Oh yeah, and I even said that Bitcoin crypto dividends will provide you a fine yield in a thread on Twitter. And that's, I think, in the title of this thing, I say crypto dividends beat interest. Yes, crypto dividends beat giving your private key over to somebody else and them saying they're going to give you interest on your Bitcoin. Controlling your private key beats a Bitcoin bank any day of the week. A Trezor beats Coinbase any day of the week. From now until 2020, 2024, 2028. Yeah, learn why I'm talking about those dates, 2032, 2036. What about those years? Halvings, learn about them. Most people don't know a thing about them. All right. So let's talk about a story that a lot of people haven't heard about. And that is HitBTC is an exchange. And they were dealing with Bprivate, and everybody knows, a lot of people know that Bprivate just had a coin burn, and HitBTC before the coin burn contacted the Bprivate people and said, we need your help moving our Bprivate because we don't want it to get burnt. Okay, so there's the story, well, the pre-story, I guess. So here's a tweet. Drama over at, and you guys can check these links out before this. It's a very important story, actually. Drama over at HitBTC Exchange. Apparently, they stole users' Bprivate by not supporting the Bitcoin fork. Secretly kept fork for themselves. Then lost those coins in the recent coin burn. Now they are delisting Bprivate. Now, I think a lot of people have wondered in the past, what do these exchanges do when there are all these forks and they control all this Bitcoin, but they don't credit the users these forks? Because there's been all sorts of forks. I mean, there's been ones we don't even have. B ice cream, B this, B that, Jolly Green Giant B or whatever. Okay, there have been a lot of them, and very few have been credited the people who have kept their Bitcoin in exchanges. So what happens? What happens to all of these crypto dividends? What does happen? Well, this story kind of shows you what happened at HitBTC. Okay? Okay, so I will continue reading here. HitBTC explained that the issue persisted. They had an issue, okay? And this is the Bprivate people talking. And demanded we compensate HitBTC for the 58,920 Bprivate coins that were lost during the coin burn. The fact here is that HitBTC did not support the fork for users. Instead, HitBTC got their Bprivate SegWit from Bitcoin SegWit from the fork and have held onto it this entire time. And they are referring to those as user funds, even though they are not at all user Bprivate. And Bprivate had to be deposited, user Bprivate had to be deposited after the fork and therefore not subject to the coin burn. So again, users of HitBTC had Bprivate there, but the only way they could get Bprivate there is if they deposited it there. Thus, it was not subject to the coin burn. Okay, this is very important. So if HitBTC is telling the truth, back in February 28th, 2018, they had 58,920 Bitcoin at least on their exchange, worth $600 million. And I know we're not going to value stuff in Bitcoin here. We're not going to value stuff in fiat usually, but I just want to put this in perspective here. So if they're telling the truth here, they just admitted how much Bitcoin they had. Because a lot of questions are coming up here. Why? Why did HitBTC need help splitting their Bprivate? Why did they even need help? Shouldn't they have the technical ability to have done this already? Okay. It definitely gives you insight into what exchanges do with these forks. They don't give them the users. What were they planning on doing with those funds? And I mean, there's also the question of, did they totally make that number up? And in fact, did a lot of people deposit Bprivate there, and they got some, and then they got rid of the Bprivate, the HitBTC, and now they want to bail out by saying that they never forked something properly. Okay, there's a lot of options you can go with here, but something is not right here. Something is quite wrong. Again, this is a lesson why you don't keep any coins on any exchange, because in a sec they're about to list Bprivate. What are they going to say to the users? Are they going to say, "Hey, because Bprivate they burnt your Bprivate, so now we're not going to give it to you and we're delisting them. That's the punishment. But that's a lie, because again, if users deposited their Bprivate there, then they should have their Bprivate there. There's no excuse that if you moved your Bprivate, it was not burnt. So they're getting called out here. This is a real situation. People have not covered it yet. It is linked to below. You should read it yourself. I kind of mangled it. There's a lot of different things going on. It's very, I mean, if they are telling the truth, they had quite a lot of Bitcoin on that day, on the day of the fork, back on February 28th. And did they and is that all the Bitcoin they had? Did they split some of it into Bprivate? Why don't they know how to split it? Is another question. Why did they need this help in the first place? Tony Traveler sent $20 in the super chat. He says, strong hands. Yeah, strong hands indeed. Do not rely on these exchanges. And again, HitBTC, what are you doing over there, dudes? But again, you can avoid all this if you control your own private key. I think that's been the theme of this show. That's been a theme of mine for a long time. But yeah, so this is what they do. They are quite a business these exchanges are in. They just keep people's they hold your Bitcoin and they keep all the forks, and then they probably dump them on whatever markets they can. And they win in so many different ways. But you, the gamblers, let them win. You let them win. You let them do this. They manipulate every single crypto dividend market because of you, because they take from you because you let them hold your private keys. Unbelievable. All right, Craig Ship says, and you can check out Craig Ship at craigship.com. I link to that below. For those who say Bitcoin fees are too high, I was charged $15 for an incoming wire of $3,800, and it took about 12 hours to process. I could have done this with Bitcoin for less than $1 in less than 30 minutes. Dude, that says it all. There are a lot of people that are still wiring money, and they're being charged $15 for an incoming wire. Okay, incoming, they're being charged $15, and it's taking 12 hours. It's ridiculous. On that, wires will be a thing of the past. They will end up a thing of the past, and they'll be completely pointless in the future. I mean, they'll be like a fax. They'll be like a freaking fax. All right, everyone, I do want you to check out that HitBTC article that the Bprivate people posted below. And it might come down to is HitBTC actually telling the truth? Did the Bprivate people see? What I want to know is did the Bprivate people see this wallet? Did they see a wallet that indeed had that meant 58,000 Bprivate at it? All right, that had never been moved. And if that was the case, then yeah, they did have that many Bitcoin at the time of the fork, which is quite amazing. So I'm not saying HitBTC was insolvent in any way, because that's a lot of Bitcoin to have at the time of the fork. But now I don't know what the heck they're trying to do here. All right, I'm Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, Disrupt Meister. Remember to subscribe to this channel, like this video, share this video. Check out the link section below. Bang that bell button if you need a reminder when this goes live. Again, check out the new podcast. Click on those squares. I will say hi to you guys in the